Welcome back. And now for what's trending in true crime. The wife of an Army Special Forces officer is charged with his murder. But it's what the victim's girlfriend is saying now that's trending this morning. So the suspect and the estranged wife, Shana Cloud, was arrested on Friday and charged with first-degree murder after investigators say that she shot and killed her husband, Clint Bonnell. Now, Bonnell, who is a retired Green Beret, was found 3 miles from their home in a rural pond. Now, this was nearly a month after he was reported missing. But now, Bonnell's girlfriend is speaking out, telling ABC News about the separate lives that he and Ms. Cloud were living.
I know that they were coming to an end. And, you know, the last couple of weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, things were really shifting. There were some concerns, for sure. And obviously, no one understood the severity of those concerns.
Now, police say that Bonnell was in the process of filing for divorce, and they think that that might have been the motivation behind his murder. We're asking this morning, should investigators be looking at anybody else besides Shana Cloud? Let's talk about it. Still with me, Mario Gallucci, and want to welcome in high-profile attorney John Phillips. Good morning to you, John. Let me start with you. Your thoughts on this? Should they be looking elsewhere?
You know, you gotta start with the window really wide open as a prosecutor, as Cumberland County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina, and try to figure out where things, you know, went wrong. And it leads to the girlfriend who was making welfare checks or asking for welfare checks, and it leads to the wife, and it leads to this messy divorce. And look who's talking, right? So they've kind of triangulated the situation. They've gotten other evidence to corroborate their suspect. They found other evidence to show that she was in the area. You know, you expect her to try to point the fingers, or a defense team to point the fingers at somebody else. But I you know, right now, everything's pointing to Shana Cloud.
Right. You're right, John. You're right. Mario Gallucci, same question to you, please. Should they be looking elsewhere?
Well, as a defense attorney, you're always looking elsewhere. But in this case, I would say I would use what I call the Dexter defense. The body was found dismembered 3 miles away in a pond. That is not something that a woman can easily do to a Green Beret. So the allegation is that not only did she kill him, but she dismembered him and moved him over 3 miles. So it's a Dexter defense. I want to know how they're going to be able to show that she was able to do that. And from what I've read so far, there's been no forensic evidence found at the scene to indicate that that was done. So it's going to be a very interesting trial. Very interesting.
Yeah, you're right, Mario. So there's more coming from Clint Bonnell's girlfriend this morning. Take a listen to what Kelly Edwards told ABC News about how Bonnell appeared the day before he went missing.
He was really exhausted that day. He had been kept up the night before. You could tell he'd been through a lot. He was just a jovial, happy human. And he was really looking forward to his next part of his life, you know, closing a chapter, coming out of the Army after 20 years.
All right, so we have some more details into the investigation, and in particular, why they like Shana Cloud for the homicide. So she told police she last saw Bonnell on January 27th. He was reported missing on the 28th. Forensic investigation led to police obtaining search warrants for her car, her rental property, and her cell phone. And we also know, as mentioned, that Bonnell was planning to divorce Ms. Cloud. And so finally going to break that tie. Now, Ms. Cloud was denied bond on Monday. She's due back in court for her next hearing on April 17th. And so we're wondering, what's going to be the best defense strategy for her? Mario Gallucci, let me start with you here, please.
So as I explained, this is clearly going to be a Dexter defense. We all know the TV show Dexter, where he plans out a murder and he's able to dismember bodies and to dispose of them. You're asking a jury to believe that this young woman was not only able to take over a retired Green Beret, but then dismember his whole entire body and move him 3 miles. I have seen no forensic evidence. I know that they have warrants for the car. You would expect to see some of his DNA in the car. You may, to dismember a body and move it 3 miles would be very, very difficult for this woman to do by herself without leaving any evidence. And so far, we've seen no evidence of that.
I love what you're saying, Mario. The Dexter defense. I love that. And, you know, by the way, what a small world it is. So M. William Phelps, one of our guests who's been coming on the program recently, we love him. He consulted on the show Dexter. He's a really accomplished author, a true crime writer, and podcaster. So cool stuff with that. John Phillips, I want to share with you this statement that Clint Bonnell's family issued. And this was issued right after his estranged wife was arrested. So take a look. It says, Clint was an incredible human who sacrificed so much for others and dedicated his life to the betterment of this world. All we can do now is pray for swift and just punishment for Shana Cloud. John, tell me, it makes me think, you know, you do civil work as well as criminal work, makes me think, you know, is there a civil lawsuit that could potentially be brought here depending upon what happens in criminal court?
There certainly is. You know, his family can always sue, you know, her and those involved. And I've watched every episode of Dexter so far too. And Dexter liked his victims to be punished, right? And the gunshot wasn't Dexter's way of killing somebody. And so certainly, it's the dismembering that is particularly hard about this case, but it also would allow her to more easily transport it to a bond. You know, but it's certainly a civil case, as you know, the public and prosecutors and police only give us a little bit of information, and as we sit here and follow this case more, we'll certainly learn more and be able to extrapolate new ideas and theories.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? This one, in the early stages, and you both know, this is going to be very high profile. It's already circulating, making headlines all over. So we're not done, and certainly we're grateful to Clint Bonnell for his service. Mario, John, stand by, please. Go refill your coffee. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, we're talking about Crystal